completing the square is a very, very useful technique, so I can't stress the importance of this technique enough. Look at the number that's in here, the coefficient to the linear term. It's a 2. If you take 2 and you divide that by 2, you get the number 1, and then if you take the number 1 and you square it, you get the number 1. That's the number that we wish to put in that missing hole. We wish to take the number 2, divide it by 2, and then square it. And this is called the technique of completing the square. We'll see in another video why this technique is so powerful and why we call this completing the square. So in the second problem, let's do it again. What's the number in front of the u, the linear term? It's 14. 14 divided by, always divide by 2. What do you get when you take 14 divided by 2? That's 7. So now you take that 7 and you square it. What's 7 to the power of 2? That's 49. So we fill in that slot with 49. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 7 squared is 49. This problem's a little bit sneakier because it does have a minus sign, but it really turns out it doesn't matter. So we can even view this, we should view this as negative 6. What do you get when you take the number negative 6 and you divide it by 2? Well, that's negative 3. And now what do you get when you take negative 3 and you square that? Well, notice even though it's a negative, negative times a negative is a positive, so negative 3 times negative 3 is also a positive number, comes out to be positive 9. So the number that's missing right here would be the number 9. Okay, see if you can do this on your own. Again, we'll see ways to use this when we go on in the class, but what would be the missing number here? What number would fill in that slot perfectly? So pause the video, and assuming you took a second out here to pause it on your own and see what you got, notice that the number that is the coefficient is negative 4. If we take negative 4 and we divide by 2, we get the number negative 2. And now what do we get when we take the number negative 2 and we square it, raise it to the power of 2? That's positive 4. So did you fill in that slot with the number 4? If you did, you're absolutely correct.